What's up, guys? It's Adam from esportsheaven.com, and I'm here once again with Curtis from Dynamic Custom Beadworks. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Always a pleasure, man.
We're here again, another Evo, another year. As always, what was the turnout like for you? How did everything go?
This Evo was probably my most profitable Evo. To be honest, it felt a little bit less of attendance-wise compared to previous years. Friday was really busy. Today though was a bit slower than I'm used to at an Evo. Mostly probably because of the amount of sheer vendors that we have, maybe lack of spectators, who knows. I mean, you did see numbers drop off on the game significantly. I think the only game in the Evo roster that had like a boost in numbers that was here last year was Tekken 7, which capped at like 1,200 some odd people, but every other game had a significant drop. SF5 had half, 50% loss. Guilty Gear lost people, Blaze Blue lost people. Mortal Kombat X wasn't here, but you had Injustice 2, which had a nice little thing, and the Smash numbers fell off a little bit too. So, I blame it on lack of people coming, But overall, I still enjoyed myself. It was still a fun event. I still advise people, if you haven't been to an Evo, to come to at least one, because it's an experience. Not only is it just with your peoples and all. It's the games, you get to see strong competition. You'll see people from across the world that you look on these Twitch streams or you idolize and stuff. You can easily approach them, most of them in case. And then on top of that, you're in Vegas, so there's more to do after the event. You can go out, gamble if you want, go see some shows, go get some food, walk around, see sights. So it's a lot to do here, so it's not just about the games,
Now, we always talk about, the business side and things, and I'm sure we'll get into that a bit more, but tell me about how you're feeling about, the current games that we have out. We got a whole bunch, especially since a lot more have been released recently, KOF, Injustice, to name a few. How are you feeling about, the games that you see? There's some people who hate Street Fighter right now, some people who are very excited for Marvel, other people who are not, Tell me how you're feeling.
To be honest, I'm not a big fan of a lot of the new games that's out right now. I like Street Fighter. It's all right. It's not the greatest of games that's out. It has its pros and it has its cons, But overall, I mean, it can use a lot of work because a lot of people are disappointed on how it's turned out. King of Fighters is probably, in my opinion, the best game that's out right now. King of Fighters and Tekken 7 are probably the best two games that are out competition-wise. Tekken 7 is an amazing game to watch. And I'm also hyped about Tekken 7 because of the whole deal that Namco put in with New Japan Pro Wrestling for those like Bullet Club shirts, the New Japan Pro shirts, like all that paraphernalia, which was awesome on their end. King of Fighters has always been one of the greatest spectator games to watch at Evo, because when you look at a King of Fighters bracket and you see like 400 some odd people, at least 200 of them are really good players, and that any one of those good players is capable of winning the Evo. And then when you look at the finals for KOF, like a top 8 for KOF, it's all high-level play, amazing matches, and you just see like insane combos and execution. Guilty Gear, I'm also a good fan of watching them. Guilty Gear is an amazing high-level play at a high-level play. Same with Blaze Blue. Marvel. Marvel's on its last legs right now. This is the last Evo for Marvel 3, I should say, is its last legs. Marvel has always been a home for me because I've watched a lot of people grow in this scene when they started with Marvel and evolved into top players that they are now. Like Coach C before he was when he was known as Insane. Ray, I watched him grow. I watched Joey D grow. I watched Chris G grow. I know I came in when the whole era was being dominated by Yipes, Justin, and F-Champ, and all. You see all these people come and go, but yet Marvel always seems to draw people back in. Smash, I'm not a big Smash person. It's a fun game, but I'm not a big fan of the competitive Smash. Not gonna take any shots at it or anything. It's just not for me.
How are you feeling about some of the upcoming games like Marvel Infinite, Dragon Ball FighterZ?
Dragon Ball FighterZ, I didn't get a chance to play, but just watching it, because I was over when I got away from my booth because it was really busy, I got over there to see some Dragon Ball Fighter. It looked amazing. The other game that I got a chance to get hands on with was Fantasy Strike. That game is incredible. The guy that is developing it did the Street Fighter 2 HD remix. So he has his hand in a Capcom game, and he's like making it simple for people to play, so you don't have to be studying frame data and notes and like all this stuff. He's making it simplified so anybody can pick it up, from the casual player to the pro player. So you guys definitely should check out Fantasy Strike. I looked at Infinite. I didn't get a chance to play hands-on with it, so I can't. From what I've seen, it looks like it can hopefully be a true successor to Marvel.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that are very, very excited for both of those games, and I'm sure that there are people excited for the one that also you mentioned, Fantasy Star Online, was it?
Fantasy Strike.
Fantasy Strike. Yeah, I'm sure there are many people who are excited, and hopefully that they get added to the roster. But this is another Evo. You've been to multiple Evos. What do you think about Evo as it is this year compared to how it was last year? Because last year was very historic. Grew exponentially at the convention center. There was the Mandalay Bay Event Center. How do you feel about it this year?
This year, we were at the convention center last year. I wasn't a fan of the layout of the convention center. Everything was a little too compact together. Like, speaking for me, from being an artist person, we had the artist alley, and then next thing you know, we had indie games in front of us, and there was like little walkway for people to get through. So from that standpoint, I'm kind of glad that they actually gave Artist Alley like a true Artist Alley, like we're at a convention, and they got multiple talented artists from like all across the globe to come in to show off your works, to all these spectators and everything. But original artists, like I've been doing this 4 years now. Yeah, this is my 4th Evo. The girl Shano and I are like the true original artists in this new era of Evo. Before there was an Artist Alley, we were always peddling our wares to our spectators. So both of us have gained a respective cult following to Evo goers who always come forward, looking forward to coming to our booths and seeing our art, seeing what we got new this year, and looking forward to what we're doing. But it's nice to see a bunch of new faces coming in to the Artist Alley this year. It's like, I think there was like 20 artists, give or take. I don't know exact number. So there's like a bunch of new people, different styles. It's good to see that diversity come through.
Obviously, there's other things that have changed in your life, and Dynamic Custom Beadworks is one. We'll talk about the other stuff later. But tell me about how Dynamic Custom Beadworks has evolved over the past year since we last talked. Obviously, more games have come out. Overwatch, there was some other crazes with other fighting games coming out. But tell me how things are on the business side and how things are changing.
In the business side of things, I mean, new games come out every year or a couple months. There's always a new fighting game, and it's the community always gravitates towards what's new, because that's what it is. They're like, oh, hey, new game's coming out, let's check it out for a bit. Like when Injustice 2 came, Injustice 2 is new kid on the block, and Tekken 7 is technically the new kid on the block because we finally got a release here in the United States. So on my end, I have to look at all these characters, make sure that I can prepare these characters to the best of my ability, so they all look, my representation looks as close as possible to what they are represented in the actual game. And that just takes a lot of time, a lot of effort on my end, a lot of preparing. And then I always try to do new takes, new spins on old takes, like this right here, the portraits from Super Turbo, one of the greatest Street Fighter 2 games out there, one of the Street Fighter games greatest ever made. So I took the portraits, but I also made some SF5 characters in that same style. So I did a Rashid one, which was sold, and then I did an Armika one as well too. So I'm trying to have the whole roster in SF5 in that whole style as well too. So I like to do spins on, new spins on some old classic stuff. And and for Evo alone, I brought in a few classic poses with characters that I haven't done in a while. I brought in a bunch of Street Fighter 3 characters and some Street Fighter 4 characters. So I always like to bring back some stuff for Evo, just because Evo's not just about a competition, it's like a celebration of a bunch of games, because there's a lot of games here being played at Evo. Not just the main stage. You got a bunch of like side game stuff, and of course you got the BYOC area where people do tournaments over there too.
As we said before, alluded to, there's a lot of other changes in life. You're a father now. Congratulations. I already said so, but tell me what that's been like. Having a child and how that's changed your life so far.
I'll be honest. Like I was terrified. Like when your significant other tells you like, hey, I'm expecting, your heart's gonna drop a little bit, and you're just like, all right, I gotta think of what's next, because instead of thinking for 2 now from my end, I'm thinking for 3. And naturally, whenever you become a father, your child's gonna be put first ahead of everything else. So right now, I'm doing all this grinding for her to make sure that as she grows up, that she can do whatever she wants to do, because I'm gonna support her in every way. And we come from a gaming household, so there's gonna be games involved. And when she gets old enough, I'm gonna put that fight stick down in front of her, and I'm gonna see what happens. She's also gonna get involved with Mario because her mom loves the Mario platforming games and all. But like I said, that's my little girl. I'll do anything for her, and I actually miss her. So I'm talking to her mom. I'm just like, I can't wait to get home just to hold her. So. But it was a life-changing. It took a lot of adapting on our end, on my wife and I's end, to get her on a little schedule so we can be like, hey, let's prepare for Evo. There's been, when you have a newborn child, sleep doesn't exist. You're only gonna get like 2.5 hours of sleep max at times. So as you see, I got my little baggy eyes going on, but I'm like smiling and glowing because I'm happy. And Trish and I had talked about all this stuff. We're just like, hey, we're gonna work in shifts for Evo. I'm gonna build some stuff. You can build some outlines, and I'll fill in these outlines. And as everything goes, just keep building in outlines and keep it going. And then when she's sleeping, that's when you're supposed to sleep. And most of the time I wasn't sleeping because I'm just like, I gotta make enough product for Evo so I can take care of my clientele, and come to understanding now that I came to Evo by myself, because normally I'm with my wife, but I had fantastic help from my girl Fair Lady over there. She broke her back to help me out, making sure that I could do everything possibly can for Evo this year. And I'm thankful for her, thankful for, of course, Evo staff to let me come out to keep doing this event. It's not just for me, it's for the community, And
I was actually going to touch on that. You're always seen with your wife. You guys are partners in crime. What was it like going to such a huge tournament like this, without her by your side and, facing the gauntlet, if you will?
I'll be honest, it sucks. I keep it 100%. My wife and I are like the best dynamic duo that you can find, and it sucks when she's not here, because when she's not here, I can't take custom orders, because most of my income is based on doing commission work, and I like to satisfy all my customers, being like, hey, I don't have this character, hey, I can make it for you. Or, hey, I want this different palette or a different costume of said character. Yeah, we can do that, So I told people, I was like, hey, for the first time, I'm not going to be able to take commissions at Evo, but if you want to, I have my notebook with me. If you want to sign up for me to ship it, I wouldn't charge you shipping. And some people were like, cool, I'll do it, But other people's are, they want that experience of picking up their character fresh fresh from me, like right here, right now. And I can't fault them for that, because that's part of the experience for me, is giving you exactly what you want,
Yeah. And, I remember 2 years ago when we first spoke at Evo 2015, you alluded to, you're an OG player. You played a lot of fighting games, and even though you haven't been competing lately, you did feel like there was something left in the tank. You felt like you had something left to give. You don't like the games currently, but do you still feel that, like, you might have that one last run to really give it your shot?
I feel when Dragon Ball comes out, I'll probably give one last go. To be honest, I feel when Dragon Ball comes out, and maybe when Infinite comes out, because my scene in Delaware, we actually do meet up like once a week at Friday. Actually, they meet up twice a week, and I don't go to the sessions because of my little girl. And I told him, I was like, hey, I'll come out like more once I like get things situated in my house. And I'm looking forward to Marvel. I'm looking forward to Dragon Ball. So I'll see how those two go, to be honest. Like, I'm more hyped for Dragon Ball than anything, to be honest.
Now, moving forward, you obviously want Dynamic Custom Beadworks to get as big as possible. Are there any, like, is there something that you really want to achieve that, a goal that you're really aspiring to, or are you really just, trying to grind, as you say, give back to the community, give them what they want, and provide the best future for your little girl?
To be honest, I want to get on another license with another developer. Like, that's the goal of mine. Hopefully I might do something with Namco for Tekken. It's gonna be hard to get the whole Bandai thing because Bandai is really an issue when it comes to like fan art and stuff like that. But I'm gonna try anyway because that's who I am, and I want to touch base with like do some stuff in the esports community, do something with that because I really think like esports is the future and everything. So hopefully one day I can get my foot in the door in the esports thing and see how that goes.
With amazing pros like these, I'm sure that you will. But as always, I'm sure I'll see you again at some point. We'll do the annual Evo interview. But any shout-outs you want to give, words you want to say to the fans? How can the fans follow you?
You can follow me on Facebook at Facebook/Dynamic Beadwork, Twitter at Dynamic Beadwork, Instagram is at Dynamic Beadworks. The website is dynamicbeadworks.com. Shout outs to my whole Delaware scene. Nothing but love for you guys. Shout outs to the DMV. Those guys are a strong group of people as well. Shout out to my wife, Trish. Love you to death. Shout out to my baby girl, Christine. Love you. Can't wait to come home to hold you. Shout out to you two, Adam and Jake. I got nothing but love for both of you guys. Congratulations for graduating college, and I'm looking forward to see what the next chapter involves for you two. And I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys next year, keep this thing going.
All right, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for supporting us and Curtis here. Stay tuned to esportsheaven.com for more coverage of EVO 2017. We'll see you guys.